Magandang hapon sa inyong lahat. Ako po si Abigail G. Palercia, po si Melissa Flores. At makakapanayan po natin ngayon ang kasalukuyang estudyanteng gobernador na ating kolehiyo, ang kolehiyo ng Sining at Agham Panlipunan.
Hello.
So, magandang hapon. Bro. May ilang mga katanungan kami regarding sa inyong kasalukuyang administrasyon.
Okay.
So, ano ang mga problemang hinarap ng iyong administrasyon?
At ang
At paano mo ito
sinusolusyonan ang mga ito?
okay, so sa tingin ko, we had three obstacles or three challenges coming into this admin, and mainly they were the results or the effect of the actions of the previous admin. So the first one is how we tackled upon the issue of accountability and transparency, especially in terms of finances, because as we all know, there have been issues not only in the previous admin but also in the admin's past, wherein the financial accounts weren't really that transparent, in terms of their submitting their documents to the DSA and whatnot. So really that was the challenge during the first few months. How we could prove to the students that we are a different admin than before, that we could be able to display fiscal responsibility towards the constituents. And I think this year we really made some huge strides. I mean, it isn't probably that perfect in terms of execution, but at least we could show for it without like the liquidation during the cast days, the liquidation during the palakasan. We really have a better system now than it was before. So I think that is the first challenge, and we also solved that quite handily. And I expect that the next admin would follow our footsteps and even do better in terms of financial responsibility. So that is the first challenge. The second one is the relationship of the CAS-EC with the Kasayuran, which is the official student publication. So because in the previous admins, it was the governor who decided what amount of money to give to the staff of the Kasayuran, whether or not there's a big constituency that gave their assessment fee, or there's a little number of people enrolled during the semester. So this during my admin, we created a resolution that ensured that whatever money that the EC has, a fixed percentage of it will go to the Kasayuran staff. So I won't have any say on what amount of money should be given to them, because it's already stipulated in the resolution that this amount of money should be given whether or not there's a huge number of enrollees or a few number of enrollees. So that is the second challenge that I think we also solved. The last challenge is the one with how we handled or the preparedness of the EC in terms of joining the competitions in the institute, such as the Palakasan and the Charter Week. While we failed during the Charter Week, I think the Charter Week was a test period, and it's also not the final proving ground, but the Palakasan, diba? So in the Palakasan, we could really show in terms of the results na the CAS-EC did its best in preparing the constituency to win in the various events, and I'm especially proud with the literary committee, wherein we became the overall champion. And I believe we could have done better in the cultural events, especially in the dances, but due to some unforeseen circumstances, we were deducted points, and so we didn't get to win. But still, we had the second place, so that's still a good thing, and that's an improvement over the last 2 years, wherein we were 6th place and 4th place respectively. So I think that's something to be proud of, and I really cherish that fact, bitaw. I think at least during my term, I proved that the CAS constituency could be gathered together so that we could really win big, even though we didn't win the overall champion na prize. At least we improved very much during my admin. So I think those are the top 3 challenges. There are still plenty more, but I think for now that's the highlight challenges that we could enumerate. Okay.
Paano niyo pinatiling epektibo ang inyong administrasyon sa kabila ng mga hindi pagkakasunduan?
Salamat sa tanong. Dahil, so, you mean to say internal or external conflicts?
Maybe internal or external?
Okay, so I think there are two types of conflicts that I had to manage during my term. First is internal within the AC. So of course, there are some misunderstandings as to how to manage the people, how to manage the funds, how to manage everything basically. So that is one of my biggest na mga challenges last time, especially given that I had a different vision as to how to run the sports and cultural, because basically these two committees have a lion's share of the funds. Like SPODA, okay, you will need to spend money on the jerseys, and cultural you also need to spend money on the costumes and the props. But anyway, I don't want to get into details, but we had a slight misunderstanding or miscommunication between the committees. But we solved that through just talking it out, and just sometimes we just go in and we just do our work. We don't necessarily engage in unnecessary battles. So that's it. So I think we just became passive about it when it was necessary. I mean, we really talked about it towards the end, especially after the palakasan. We talked about it, but during the process, we didn't want to argue, we didn't want to fight. So there was an understanding among the EC that conflict is necessary, but it shouldn't be encouraged, especially during trying times like palakasan. So that is one of the conflicts, and the other one is conflict. Not necessarily a conflict, but our relationship with the constituency, our relationship with the students in class. So because there is this reputation that some of the EC officers are harsh towards the other students. While I try my best to really talk to them nicely, some would really treat them badly. I won't say names, but that really happens. And so I just try to talk to some of the EC members that they should try to minimize their offensive snide remarks, and not necessarily offensive, but the things that they could say could potentially hurt people. So I just say to them I just advise them to really watch their tongue. So I think na siya mga conflicts.
Thank you. Ano mga strategiyang yung ginamit para malipon mo pati sa mga estudyante ng CAS, lalong-lalo na noong nakaraang palakasan?
Okay. I think I could say for almost any EC that communication is key towards any endeavor. Like if you do not communicate well with those above you and those below you, then there won't be any success. There will be little success to be gained without proper communication. So that's why I open all types or all channels of communication, especially in social media, through our bulletin board, through I urge my EC members to text everyone who wants to join, to really encourage them that there is an incentive in joining. So I want them to make other students see the benefits in joining the contest because there is no inherent or there is no monetary benefit to be gained. Like the only benefit you could have are ones that are not necessarily monetary, like the things like the friendship you gain or the camaraderie that you are exposed to during those times. Like when you join the competition or when you join a dance contest, for example, you get to be close with other people who also share the same passion as you. So that is one benefit that I want to communicate to everyone, and I also wanted to say that to all of my members, and so that in turn they could also share that with others. And so I think communication is key.
huling tanong, bago matapos ang iyong termino, ano-ano ang legacy na iyong iiwan sa class?
Okay, so I think there are two types of legacies that I could leave. First are the tangible ones. So mainly the tangible projects that we created during our term as officers, as student officers. I would like to stress student officers because it's so different from like an actual student leadership is so different from actual organizational like or political leadership. But in a sense, it is also very much important because this is the training ground for everything. Like when you go outside, what you learn here will also apply because the structures are similar with them. Like when you are at the top, the decisions that you do are also similar when you go outside. So okay, so let's go now to the legacies. I think first are the tangible legacies. I think the most visible ones are the bulletin board, which I changed so that you could easily see the all the information that you need because in the previous na bulletin board it was so messy and it didn't really entice people to watch the bulletin board. So that's one thing that I changed. And another one is the scaffolding for tarpaulins and for announcements. You know, tarpaulins are a big thing now. So especially when there are events or when there are people that need to be acknowledged, they always put up tarps. So I think that it was high time for us to have our own scaffolding. And so CAS is the first college to have that in the institute. So I'm proud of that little legacy of ours. And also I think we will be purchasing some items for the AC, like its own sound system, for its own little events like the opening salvo. That's another legacy that we started, the opening salvo. And so let's go to the intangible ones. So in terms of intangible legacies, I think we started this year we created the guidelines, brand new guidelines for all the events during the CAS days. And so I will leave that to the new admin, and they could do whatever they desire to the guidelines. And I think what's good about this is that they won't start from scratch with the next admins, and they will be able to prepare ahead of time, so that because during the past few years the problem has always been the guidelines. The guidelines are always prepared late, and so during this time all the admins will have the chance to prepare even before classes start, as far as the CAS days is concerned. And another legacy that we may leave is the legacy of resolutions. So resolutions are the laws that have been created by the board members and the request governor. And this year we created at least 17 of them. Some of those are EC-related policies, some of those are about societies, some of those are about the projects that we did, and all of these are documented through the resolutions. And so I would like to elucidate that, or I would like to emphasize that to the next admin, that they should be continuing this, because this is the only way that you could prove to other people that you did this during your admin, the resolutions, because these are the tally of whatever you achieved during your term. So I think that those are some of and also that we improved during the palakasan, because the doubters said that that we won't rise again and stuff like that. So with our win as second place, and hopefully next year we would win as champion, I really like to believe, because said, if you have not heard yet, HRM will be transferred from SED to CBAA, so they will have lesser manpower in terms of their cultural, and so we will have greater chances of winning, hopefully. And so I think those are the legacies that I will do. And also the legacy of financial transparency that we started, that this year there are no issues at all regarding the finances, that you could not hear, or we were not called to his office to clarify this or that. So we have always tried to explain where our finances went, and that may be a legacy that future admins would try to emulate. And so, yeah, I think those are the legacies.
Sige, yun natapos ang ating palayang kay Mr. Lewey Jimoya.
Okay, so thank you so much. And I hope the audio is okay, even though you're far away, camera woman. Okay, thank you.